Hey you guys, it's Matthew from the Key Republic, and today we're doing loops, which is your 5th C# tutorial. So loops repeat code, easy as that. And they're based off a variable, so that means it could be a set number, or it can be an input. So now we should dive in. But there's, just to let you know, there are 2 types of loops, so this tutorial may run on a little. So we're gonna new project. We're gonna hit console application. It's default since you've been doing it like twice or 5 times now. So you're gonna do loop, and you're gonna hit OK. So now it sets up our code. So we're gonna start off by putting in console dot read that line, and then we're gonna also put in our for loop. So we're for space parentheses, and you're gonna put in int loops equals 1 semicolon loops less than equals 10 semicolon loops plus plus. Whoops. I didn't have to do that, but I wanted to. And then we're just gonna open up some brackets. And if you don't remember, opening up brackets is different from semicolon, because if you open up a bracket, then that means that you're going to actually put something inside it, some code. Compared to when you don't, that's just one single line of code. So, let me explain. So we're going to say for this variable here. So this is completely like one variable, but it's actually this variable here. So we're going to define a variable, int loops equals 1. Okay, so we set a variable. Loops, when it equals 10, then it stops. And then this just says that loops is going to add on once every time the code in here finishes. So we're going to put in console dot write. I'm already getting bad stuff with this line. I'm gonna put in hi, and if you guess correctly, we're gonna get 10 highs. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 10. Okay, now you have to always be careful, because if you forget something, it could go completely wrong and ruin your code. That's called an infinite code. So if you forget this last part here, it's called an infinite loop. Sorry. If you forget that last plus plus, you're gonna get this. Hours on end of highs. I mean, you'll never feel alone considering you have a best friend that just says hi to you, but it's not good because you're ruining your storage. Luckily, this is my friend's computer, so you can do that. But if it's your own, you shouldn't. So, that was a for loop, and it's pretty simple, really. It's just you define the variable, you give it a semicolon to separate it, and then this variable is less than equal. So what's going to happen is, once it reaches 10, it stops. And this is just saying that it's going to add on 1. That also works for minus minus, but we're not going to be using that. We're using plus plus for now. But if you're using minus minus, you're probably going to have 100 here. So it goes down to 10. Now, for a while loop, which is a little easier in my opinion, and I use it a little more often, it's based off the same thing really. So we're going to have int loops equals 1. What? I meant to put 1. If you put this, you're wrong. Okay. Now we're going to put while loops is less than equal to 10, and then open up your brackets. Now this is pretty much the same formatting, except we're just gonna put in console dot right line, and then high, except in all caps. And then we're just gonna do what is it? Loops plus plus. Okay, now explain this because it's a little easier to understand. So, why do I always have to mess up, man? I'm sorry. So, here I'll explain the loops because it's really easier in this format. I create an int, and it's equivalent to 1, right? So we're saying this. While loops is less than equal to 10, run this code in here, which is write the line high, then add on one more number to loops. So, which is the variable. So every time this runs, this increases by 1. So 1, then it goes again 2, then it goes again 3, then it goes 4, 5, till it reaches 10. Once it reaches 10, stops. If you don't have the equal sign, it's going to go to 9. So, always add that equal sign. And that's really it for loops. It's that simple. We're just going to run it just to show you. And it's 10, just because I know it's 10. And remember, if you forget this, you're going to get something called an infinite loop, which is not good, so don't forget it. I'm Matthew from the Key Republic, and I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.